You've spent your entire life handing over your power to others without even realizing it. Every time you reacted to a person who didn't deserve your breath, every time you explained yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you, and every second you wasted your energy on toxic souls, you were handing them a piece of your spirit on a silver platter. They didn't steal it. You gave it away. But today, that game ends. I'm not here to teach you how to argue. I'm here to teach you how to dominate without saying a single word. I am about to reveal 7 dark psychology tactics refined by Niccolo Machiavelli himself. Rules that will transform you into an untouchable fortress, where your presence is a privilege and your silence is a death sentence to the opponent's ego. Most people move through life like pre-programmed machines. Insulted, they react. Questioned, they explain. They think this is strength, but in reality, they are just puppets dancing on someone else's strings. The real power players on this chessboard move differently. They don't react. They don't explain. They guard their attention like it's the most expensive currency on earth, because it is. Look at the icons of industry and the masters of history. They all share one trait: ruthless selectivity. They aren't everywhere. They don't answer everyone, and they don't give their energy for free. That is what makes them magnetic. Power isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about the strategic silence that commands it. If you're ready to take back what's yours, comment below. I control my own power. Let's begin. Imagine a chessboard where the pieces don't move by conventional rules. In the shadows of the Florentine halls of power, Machiavelli observed a brutal truth. He who reveals his emotions first loses. He saw princes fall because they were too concerned with being liked or understood. In this modern world, you are that prince, and the energy vampires surrounding you are the usurpers. You think responding to every message or confronting every critic is how you maintain your status. No, that is how you bleed out your aura. The story of true power starts when you realize your attention is gold and you don't throw gold into a pigsty. To become untouchable, you must learn to operate like a ghost in the minds of others, always felt but never caught. Here are 7 dark rules to restructure your reality. Let's start with the most fundamental law. Your attention is a currency, and just like money, the moment you throw it around carelessly, you go broke. Here is what they don't tell you. Every time you give someone your attention, you are making a transaction. You are spending your emotional bandwidth, your mental energy, and your finite time. A hater leaves a comment. You engage. A toxic person starts drama. You participate. Someone disrespects you. You spend 3 hours crafting the perfect comeback. And what is your return on investment? Nothing, except stress, exhaustion, and a bruised ego. Machiavelli understood something that 99% of the masses will never grasp. He who controls where the attention flows controls life itself. When you give someone your attention, you grant them the power to regulate your heartbeat, your thoughts, and your psychological state. Stop and look at the people draining you. Those who come to you with endless crises, those who do nothing but criticize and diminish your efforts. Have they ever added value to your life? Have they made you wealthier, smarter, or more peaceful? If the answer is no, why do they still possess your gold? Real power players build a steel filter. Access is not granted to everyone. Responses are not guaranteed for all. Before opening their mouths or picking up a phone, they ask, "Is this person worthy of my gold?" If not, they move on without justification or hesitation. Your biggest mistake is thinking you owe the world a response. You fear being rude or weak if you stay silent. The opposite is true. Ignoring the unworthy doesn't make you weak. It makes you untouchable. It shows you value yourself too much to let trash enter your mental sanctuary. Imagine someone sends you an insulting text. Your instinct is to defend your honor. But in that moment, you lose because they got what they wanted, your reaction. Now imagine you read it, feel nothing, and delete it. That person will sit there, staring at the screen, wondering why you didn't blow up. They become anxious, they begin to overthink, and eventually, they are the ones manipulated by your silence. From this moment on, treat your attention as your most valuable asset. Gold is not for everyone. Gold is for the worthy. Comment: My attention is gold. Do you know why people fear silence? Because they believe it makes them look defeated. They think if they don't have the last word, they've lost. But here is the truth that changes everything. Silence is the most aggressive move you can make. When someone attacks you with words and you fire back with more words, you've entered their game. You're playing by their rules. You've given them the validation they crave. But when you respond with absolute silence, the game stops. The power dynamic flips. Suddenly, they are the fool standing there talking to a brick wall. Machiavelli watched countless men destroy themselves by talking too much and explaining too much. The ones who rose to power were those who knew when to speak and when to keep their lips sealed. Silence communicates something words never can: absolute indifference. It says, "You are not worth my breath. You don't even register on my radar." That destroys an opponent more than any insult ever could. Let's break it down. When you respond, you validate their existence. You confirm that what they said mattered enough to bother you. But when you stay silent, you rob them of that validation. They are left in a vacuum of uncertainty. Did you see it? Are you mad? Do you despise them? They will never know, and that not knowing will eat them alive day after day. I've seen people go insane, spending weeks obsessing over why someone didn't reply. They replay the conversation 1,000 times. That is psychological warfare at its peak, without firing a single shot. Furthermore, the more you talk, the more ammunition you give your enemies. Every explanation is a revealed weakness. Every defense is a crack they can exploit. But silence leaves no trail. They cannot twist your words if you didn't say any. They cannot weaponize your emotions if you didn't show any. Let your words be rare and carry the weight of a sentence. People will listen because they know you don't talk just to fill the air. Silence is not cowardice, it is ultimate control. Silence is a weapon that never misses its mark. Right, silence is power. Don't confuse power with avoidance. Many think power means cutting off all contact and becoming a hermit on a mountain. That isn't power. That's running away. Real power comes from strategic withdrawal. It is the art of being physically present but emotionally unreachable. It is appearing when it benefits you and pulling back when it doesn't. It's making people feel your absence even when you're standing right in front of them. Total withdrawal, ghosting, makes people forget you, Strategic withdrawal makes people obsessed with you. Machiavelli observed how great leaders maintained influence. They weren't at every party. They didn't show up to every meeting. They created scarcity. They made their presence valuable by making it rare. Think about someone you are attracted to. If they text you every minute, always available, always ready to drop everything for you, how do you feel? Suffocated and bored. Constant presence kills mystery. But think about the person who sometimes replies instantly, sometimes disappears for hours, and is deeply engaged in their own world. You find yourself checking your phone, wondering what they are doing. That is strategic withdrawal. In friendship or business, the person who drops everything for a call is a backup plan. The person who is selective with their availability is the priority. The key is you stay in the game, but you don't let the game control you. You engage on your own terms. This creates uncertainty in others' minds, and uncertainty always breeds respect. When you withdraw at the right time, people start to chase. They revalue your presence because they know it isn't guaranteed forever. Your absence becomes a statement. Your boundaries are your power. You don't need to vanish from the world. You just need to make the world work to keep you in it. Be present, but be selective. Participate, but make them earn it. Comment: I choose my presence. Do you know what happens in a person's brain when they are ignored? Pure chaos. Their mind goes into overdrive trying to solve a puzzle with no solution. They look for reasons, create theories, and build a dramatic narrative just to understand why you aren't responding. And while they burn their mental energy on you, you aren't even thinking about them. That is the devastating power of ignoring. You don't need to go to war. They fight a war within themselves. Humans are wired for closure. We need answers. We need to understand cause and effect. When you ignore someone, you deny them that closure. Your silence becomes an open wound in their mind, something that never heals because no explanation was provided. Machiavelli saw this in politics. Leaders who responded to every critic were trapped in an endless loop of defense. But leaders who simply ignored their enemies caused those enemies to burn out from their own frustration and obsession. Choose the path of total ignorance. Do not acknowledge the existence of spam, rumors, or petty provocations. When you ignore someone, you are telling them, "You do not exist in my reality." This erasure is more painful than any slap. In an argument, the opponent still feels acknowledged. In being ignored, they are a zero. They are invisible. They are irrelevant. The human brain cannot handle that reality. The best part is, this works on everyone, from enemies and critics to toxic exes and energy parasites. The moment you withdraw your attention, you pull the plug on their power. They become ghosts screaming into a void. You don't need revenge. Your indifference is the most brutal revenge. Your silence is the final blow. Let them suffer in their own speculation while you move forward as if they never existed. Right, I erase the unworthy. To truly master power, you must know how to categorize those who need to be erased. There are 3 types of people you must remove from your reality with absolute coldness. First, the direct enemy. These aren't people who just disagree with you. These are the ones actively plotting, spreading lies, or looking to stab you in the back. Your mistake is trying to expose them or demand justice. Machiavelli would say, "Don't give your enemy a stage." When you fight them, You make them important. Instead, erase them with your success. Let your radiance blind them while they remain stuck in the pit of their envy. Second, the negative critic. These people never build anything. They sit on the sidelines trying to pull down those who are striving. They need your attention to feel alive. Do not feed them. Your silence will starve them. Third, and most dangerous, the energy parasite disguised as a friend. They always come to you with fake crises and never-ending drama to suck out your empathy. They aren't looking for solutions. They are looking for attention. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is survival. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Erase all three types. No noise, no announcements, just a quiet withdrawal of all energy flow. Treat them as invisible. Your time is finite. Your energy is a treasure. Do not waste it on those who do not make your life better. When you clear this trash, you will see space for greatness to appear. The reason others can manipulate, control, or drain you isn't because they are strong. It's because you lack armor. That armor is called indifference. Let's get it right. Indifference doesn't mean being heartless or not caring about anything. Indifference means you have total control over what is allowed to affect you and what isn't. It's being so secure in yourself that external chaos cannot penetrate your internal peace. Most people are emotional hostages. One insult ruins their day. One act of disrespect makes them angry for a week. Their emotions are in the hands of others. That is slavery, not power. Machiavelli saw the strongest men fall because they were emotionally weak. Anger made them predictable. Pride made them easy to manipulate. Those who survived and stood on the peak were those with emotional armor so thick nothing could touch them. They cared about their goals and vision, but they were indifferent to the noise. The way to build this armor is to identify your triggers. What makes you blow up? What makes you rush to explain yourself? Those are the cracks in your armor. Enemies will always aim there. If you fear being seen as lazy, you'll scramble to justify yourself when someone hints at it. You just gave them power. If you fear being misunderstood, you'll waste hours explaining your intentions. You just lost control of your time. Neutralize these triggers by becoming indifferent to those exact situations. Someone calls you lazy? You know the value of your work. Their opinion is garbage. No response. Someone misunderstands you. People will always paint their own narrative. Let them. When nothing outside can control your internal state, you become invincible. People will test you, pushing old buttons to get old reactions. And when they get nothing, they will be forced to respect you or leave. Either way, you win. The armor of indifference ensures your emotions serve you rather than ruling you. Right? Nothing controls me. The pinnacle of power isn't about doing more. It's about sometimes doing nothing at all. Calculated inaction is the art of winning by standing still. Some battles are won not by fighting, but by refusing to show up. Some people will destroy themselves without you ever lifting a finger. Master the patience to let situations resolve themselves while you conserve your energy for what truly matters. For example, when someone spreads rumors about you, you would panic and try to correct the record. The new you does nothing. You keep living with integrity. You keep producing greatness. The truth will reveal itself without you saying a word. The rumor monger will look ridiculous when their words don't match reality. that is ascending without effort, or when someone tries to compete and copy your style. Don't bother. Don't change to avoid them. Just focus on your path. While they are busy watching and chasing you, you've created a gap they can never fill. Not because you tried to beat them, but because you never considered them an opponent. This is how you dominate without confrontation. Your silence becomes legendary. Your absence becomes magnetic. Your indifference becomes the talk of rooms you aren't even in. You become the person everyone wants access to, but no one can reach. While the world burns energy on cheap drama, you are investing energy into greatness. This is how you soar, not by climbing over others, but by refusing to descend to levels that don't serve you. Guard your energy, select your presence, and use silence as your authority. This is the ruthless art Machiavelli perfected, and now it is yours. Now, look back at the journey we've taken. You've seen the mind-breaking effect of ignoring. You've learned to erase the unworthy. You've begun forging the armor of indifference. And you've learned to win through calculated inaction. But remember, all of this is just theory if you don't practice it right now. Power isn't something granted. It is something taken through mental discipline. Don't wait for tomorrow. Next time someone provokes you, don't react. When someone demands an unnecessary explanation, stay silent. When you feel the urge to prove yourself to a mediocre soul, restrain yourself. From this moment, you operate on a different OS. You are untouchable. You attract through absence. You reign through silence. You spent your life giving your power away, but today, that leak is officially sealed. Assert your position one last time by writing, "I am untouchable." Share this video with those being drained of their energy, and don't forget to subscribe, because we are just beginning our journey to conquer the darkness and find the light of true power. You are now an unbeatable warrior.